First, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I just want to double confirm that you are seeing my slide.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Thank you. So, to begin with, I think this topic is not a controversy, right, Devan? So, that I want to clarify before you start the next debates following the talk. So, glaucoma surgery, we all know it's not very rewarding for any general ophthalmologist, for various reasons, because it takes much longer than cataract, a lot of care post-operatively, unexpected visual outcomes, and also negative marketing happens because of this, either from the surgeon or maybe from the patients also. So whenever we have blebs, there are a lot of bleb-related complications. Even without blebs, when you have tube surgery, again there may be a lot of issues, something like from infection to cyst blebitis or failure of the valve forming cyst, or even related to hypotony and many other complications. So we tend to see a lot of complications when we do glaucoma surgery, whether we want it or not. So always as glaucoma surgeons, we are looking at high safety profile and surgeries which are less invasive, and also where you get a quick recovery like how we get in cataract surgery. So when we talk about the minimally invasive glaucoma surgery, the name coined by the famous surgeon Ike Ahmed from Canada, mostly it's procedures which spares the conjunctiva, where you have an ab interno approach. It is kind of safer and less invasive than the routine glaucoma surgeries. And the idea of doing it is to reduce the dependency of a medication. If somebody is on 2-3 medication, we can reduce the dependency. And also you can combine it with cataract surgery and you can kind of give a good, better quality of life. So where does it suit now at this point of time? Now people still say it's for mild to moderate glaucomas. Maybe patients with ocular hypertension who can change into glaucoma future, you want to prevent that. People who need cataract surgery with early glaucoma, and also conditions where they have ocular surface disorders where they can't use a lot of many glaucoma medications for many years, this would play a role. So I just want to classify the possible mix now at this point of time. Now as subconjunctival drainage, you have the Zen implant, which is still not available in India. Maybe soon it may be available. And most of the time mix is enhanced Schlemm's canal. So you have procedures like trabectome, GARD, KDB, and several other things which are targeting the Schlemm's canal. So it's all ab internal. And also you have suprachoroidal. You have iStent Supra, which is now getting popular, and the other one, which is the CyPass. Unfortunately, CyPass is already out of the market. So we have seen even in our career so many procedures for glaucoma which have come, and they have also prematurely left the market for various reasons. And then the other option which we have and which we have been doing also in India, at least few people I know of, is the ECP. Now where you distract the ciliary body. So when we are talking about a developing world setting or a low middle income country like India, we know that many of these devices are not yet available, because of the cost, and also the need for it is not there. And many of the times it's only, as I said before, very modest control of intraocular pressure. So many of our patients need really a good target pressure because we operate on advanced glaucomas. So we are trying to aim at procedures like trabeculectomy or tube shunt surgeries where we get a very good intraocular pressure control. So what are the viable options at this point of time for us? Will be taking you through some of these procedures which can be done at this time. One is the gonio-assisted transluminal trabeculotomy. And then you have an option which is already there in Indian market, the trabectome. Even though it is expensive, if you can pool patients and do, then the cost would come down. You have KDB, which will be coming up because it's marketed by the same people who do AGV, New Medical Company. So they are going to market KDB, and it may not be very expensive like other mixed procedures. And of course, you have an option of ECP, even though cost is high. Again, we can bring down the cost by reusing it optimally. So first to touch about trabectome. Trabectome is, to begin with, they had a tough time, but they got FDA approved way back in 2004. But the problem is it's an electrocautery which is a single use, and it's a disposable electrocautery with irrigation and aspiration. What it does is it ablates the intervening trabecular meshwork, and then you do it for around 180 degrees. So you de-roof the Schlemm's canal and you enhance the outflow by removing the trabecular meshwork. I'll just show you some of our experience with it. It's a video which shows you trabectome. The most important thing in any of the mix is to do a good intraoperative gonioscopy. I'll touch upon it later. So this is a trabectome. It's an electrocautery where you enter into the trabecular meshwork and you shave off the trabecular meshwork, opening up the Schlemm's canal. So by doing this on either side, you get roughly 2 to 3 hours of clearance where there is a modest reduction of intraocular pressure. So if you see most of the studies, they say it's between a success rate of 60 to 80%, I would say, from different studies. And when done with cataract surgery, definitely there is a better result because cataract surgery alone reduces pressure, and addition to you do trabectome, you can get better results. The second thing which is important, and we have very good experience at this point of time, is gonio-assisted transluminal trabeculotomy. And again, it's a surgical option like any mix for open angle glaucoma, usually performed with an eye tract catheter. And we have explored the less expensive option also. So how is it done? So it's so important. We have to learn the skills of doing intraoperative gonioscopy using a Swan-Jacob lens. And then these two side ports are very important, no? Where you position the side ports so that you can place the eye tract catheter comfortably. So this is a side port for the catheter and the other one is the side port for your manipulation with your MVR blade. So basically we are using an MVR blade to open up the trabecular meshwork into the Schlemm's canal, and then you catheter the Schlemm's canal using this eye science or the eye tract catheter which you have. So this catheter can go 270 to 360 degree, and then you remove the catheter from the eye through the side port using the opposite side, so that you almost do a 360 degree trabeculotomy or a 270 to 290 degrees of trabeculotomy, which enhances the outflow through the Schlemm's canal. And finally, you can do cataract or you can do as a primary procedure. So the other option which we explored and we are doing a routine is the suture-assisted, gonio-assisted transluminal trabeculotomy. Here you use a phioprolin. So way back, even several years back, my good friend Gaba showed us how to do with the suture from externally. But again, it didn't become very popular because external canaloplasty is very difficult to do. Whereas the internal canaloplasty looks much simpler. The rest of the thing is the same. You can use Heal-On or even less expensive viscoelastic, but Heal-On and Heal-On GV makes a big difference in forming the chamber. So the most important part in this surgery is you have to use a low cautery to make that small snub in the suture to begin with. You can't put the sharp suture inside. So you have to gently blunt it with a low cautery, and rest of the procedure is almost safe, except that you can't see the light assisted catheter all through your procedure. So here you are using a Prolin suture, and then you have to do the intraoperative gonioscopy. You have to position the patient at a certain angle and then your microscope at a certain point, and then use the same MVR blade. And here you can see, because there was a blood in Schlemm's canal, you can see the reflex bleeding. That gives a very good clue that you are inside the Schlemm's canal. So you have to make a very gentle opening so that you don't tear the external wall. You only tear the trabecular meshwork into the Schlemm's canal. And then you introduce this phioprolin. And if you want at different points, we can always go in and do another gonioscope, a direct gonioscope. You can do an indirect gonioscope to verify where exactly it is. It's cumbersome, but you can always verify like this. So you can see, we are just checking in between to see where the suture is going. But if it is going without much resistance, it's fine. You can keep continuing to go. But after 180 degrees, when you come to again 12 o'clock position, you may have a little bit of resistance, because now you're moving in a different direction. So you have to keep continuing a little bit forcefully, and then you can come on the other side. You can do a 290 or 270 or even up to 360 degree. And then how you remove the catheter, the same way you can remove this phioprolin, and then you have a 360 degree trabeculotomy. So as any mix, the biggest advantage you have this pad conjunctiva for future procedures. It's not that there are not complications. There are some hyphema. You wash it, even next day you can have microhyphema, but it disappears in a couple of days. And there is less risk for infection and follow-up and all that because you're not touching the conjunctiva. And reasonably good results we have seen with Davinder Grover's publication, and also with our experience of doing close to 55 patients till the pandemic started, we have done. And we have been following some of the patients for 6 months. Some patients have completed 1 year. We are reasonably seeing 60 to 70% success rate in good intraocular pressure control. The other option which we may have soon, may not be very expensive, is the Kahook dual blade. So the dual blade is basically, the same principle like how you do a trabectome, but it's only a blade which shaves off the trabecular meshwork. There is no electropottery here. It's designed in such a way that the sharp ramp kind of lifts and stretches the meshwork, and then it removes nicely the meshwork, so that you can excise the tip of the trabecular meshwork and you can open up the Schlemm's canal. So this is one way you can really do mix at a very conveniently using this Kahook dual blade. So this Kahook dual blade also, there are a lot of evidence, and we found that this is possible. And there is a cheaper version of doing it. And this is, I'll just quickly finish the talk with showing you how this is done. This is called bent ab interno needle goniectomy. So this is a hypodermic needle which is used, and you bend the needle at the end, and you can do like a Kahook dual blade. So it's a very simple technique, but again you need an experience of doing with the Kahook dual blade or some other blades, or even trabectome, to do an ideal opening of the trabecular meshwork like this. So if you open up like this, you can also get similar results like Kahook dual blade. So this video again was shared by Ashram Shabani, who has come up with this technique, and he says in developing world you can easily do this for some of your patients with cataract surgery. So ECP, many of you know, I'm not going to go into the details. There are very good results with ECP for many years. So to conclude, I think I would say that MIGS has got some potential even in developing world if we can do all this, but definitely cost and other things are a limitation, but we have some of these options. So whenever you do cataract, it's good to learn intraoperative gonioscopy. You have to adapt to these low-cost mixed procedures like GART and BAN, which I was telling you, so that we are prepared to the next level. And I think in no time, India would be developing low-cost mix, how we have been done RD and several other intraocular lenses before. And once again, I thank GSI for this opportunity, and thank you.